My name is Gareth. You're watching the Hub Online Network. There's a movie coming to town. There's a few jobs that are available, and we're going to talk about that in just one second. All right, so there's a movie coming to town. It is called Death Pursuit. We have Troy here with us, and I wanted to ask him a few questions because him and I have both worked in the movies, so I thought that it would be fun to talk about our experience in the movie and what you might be able to expect if you were to get a job. So Troy, what did you do when you worked in the film industry?
I coordinated video playback.
Oh, okay, so what is that?
It's anytime you see content on screens, whether it be TVs, projectors, my job is to coordinate all of the content and how it gets facilitated onto the screens for the camera department.
Okay, and so what would a typical length of day be?
For me, or mine ranges because I'm not on the actual set. Sure. I work from the production office, so I'm usually in pre-production. So it's usually 2 to 3 weeks on a TV series, a lot longer, depending. Well, it depends on what the content is. If there's only a couple screens, it's not too much of my time, but if it's heavy, it could be 14, 16-hour days, making sure it gets all done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all on deadline, so if they need it all done in a week, done in 2 weeks. If it's heavy, the more they need in the least amount of time, just means longer hours. Right. You got a little bit, and you've got 4 weeks, it's more like a regular 8-hour job.
Well, so for this one, this is called Death Pursuit. It will be filming in the Ashcroft and Cache Creek area primarily from May 9th to June 10th. So that if you're looking to participate in this film, you can also maybe expect, if you're a PA, maybe a week before and maybe a week after. But it's about 4 weeks worth of shooting. It's an action drama. If you're interested in working on the project, please send an updated resume with your name and title of position you would like to fulfill to, what's the email here? TNFC, and we're going to link this email address onto the description of this video. So tnfc@tnrd.ca. This will get you in touch with Victoria Weller, who is the film commissioner for the Thompson-Nicola Regional District. If you're interested in any sort of job, please send your resume to her with the subject, the title of the email to V Weller PA or V Weller Grip or V Weller Costumer or V Weller Camera Department. The qualifications for this would be you have to be able to legally work in Canada. You must have your own transportation, but might be willing to carpool around if that is something that you can figure out. And you must work as a local hire. So in your experience, have you ever worked as a local hire outside of Vancouver before? I guess you would have been a local hire regardless.
I guess so, yeah.
So typically what that means is if you were on set, you would get breakfast, lunch provided.
Generally, yeah.
You wouldn't get a per diem though.
No.
So that's really the main thing of local hire. They're not going to put you up in a hotel, and they're not going to give you extra money for food.
Yeah, or travel mileage.
What were some other? So I mentioned PAs, grips, costume, and set decoration. What are some other jobs that people might be able to apply for? Do you think?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure what the range of, because you guys have your own union here, right?
Well, there's different unions. I'm part of the Directors Guild of Canada.
Right.
But there's IATSE, which is a big one that encompasses a bunch of, grips.
It's camera grips.
Yeah. So. Okay. Oh, sorry. Cranking up the volume here. Let's do that. Let me know if that works for you. For this particular feature film, I couldn't find it on the DGC website, so I'm not sure if this is a film or this is a TV show. Right. I'm assuming that it's a movie.
It could be, because there's different tiers of the films too. So you have your higher budget production, and then you have lower budget that generally have a little bit more flexibility. Some of them are in their own union, but some of the lower budget stuff, or if it's like say it's like a YouTube production or something like that, there's a lot more flex of who can be hired in something like that.
Right.
Because they're not bound to the same restrictions.
Well, last year, just over a year ago, the Twilight Zone came in, and they worked here, and they hired a bunch of people to be PAs, security, and a bunch of people to be background actors. But they didn't hire anybody local, I believe, to do any construction,
like technical
or tech stuff. They brought all those people in, but I'm not sure. So this email this email that came out from Victoria Weller is not just specific to Ashcroft Cache Creek. It's to the whole area. So if you're someone in Kamloops as part of, because there's a few people.
There's quite a few in Kamloops and Kelowna, I think.
They can apply for the sort of meteor jobs.
Right.
But they won't hire you as a outsider. You have to be a local thing.
Right.
It's happened to me a few times. They would ask me to go out to Kelowna, but I have to be a local hire, and I just I can't afford. I have to put myself up in a hotel.
Yeah.
But I have also done where they put me up in a hotel and they give me a couple $100 for food a week.
Right.
So yeah, if you're applying, be prepared to work about 15-ish hour days if you're a PA. Those days can be long. They can be outside, so be prepared for the weather. They can be lonely. Sometimes you might get put in a place where you're by yourself for a while.
Yeah, like 8 hours in a parking lot.
Right?
Just guiding cars.
Yeah. If that. I've actually seen people literally sit in front of a generator and not move for 15 hours.
Watch the Jenny, for sure.
Right? So, Death Pursuit sounds like some kind of a car show.
Right, yeah. Probably like what was that one with all the cars with all the weapons? Not Mad Max, but there was the
Death
other
Proof. No, not Death
Death
Proof.
Race.
Death Race. Death Race. Yeah.
Sounds like something like that.
Did you see the one with Jason Statham?
Jason Statham.
Yeah, so there's.
All I can think of is Transporter.
There's Death Race 2000, which is really old.
Right.
With like Sylvester Stallone, and they're going across America and they're hitting everybody with their cars.
Yeah.
And then there's a sort of remake with Jason Statham where they're not going across the country. They're
prisoners, right?
Yeah, they're prisoners.
Okay, so then, I saw that. That's the one I was thinking of.
That's the one you saw?
Yeah.
So you should, if you like film, you should go check out Death Race 2000, which is the original. It's awesome.
It's the style of the time.
However, I am going to count this as a civic journalist thing because this was put out by Cache Creek, the village of Cache Creek, and the TNRD, Thompson-Nicola Regional District, two government bodies. So, PA, it just sounds like menial work. If you're looking to get into the industry, sometimes if you're willing to stick it out, the PAs that are willing to put out that kind of work and not, complain about it or have an issue, just do the work. You can move up pretty quick. I've seen people who start off as parking lot watchers, and in a couple years, they're in the offices, they're in production, they're on the sets. They've moved to other departments because somebody's seen the quality of their work and they're willing to work hard. And if you can do that, you can sometimes bypass some of those kind of, you have to do this and you have to do this first. Somebody who's department head's like, I like that person and I like what they're doing. They might be like, hey, do you want to come over and start doing set deck? Do you want to come back to the coast and work on a project? So if you're willing to do the dirty work, sometimes that stuff really sticks out. Right. Well, that, not to mention, so I mean, if you want to have this as a career path, this is a great way to start out as a PA. 100%. You can get your fingers into any sort of department and learn a lot just by observing. Not to mention, PAs now get paid very well.
Yeah, it's considerable.
I mean, higher up positions get paid more, obviously, but I believe that a PA is over $300 a day. Now, granted, it's 15-hour days, but it's $300-something a day.
Yeah, I think it depends on their tier, the rates. So depending on the production of the show, we'll pay out different rates, but it's considerable good pay for considering what you're doing. I mean, it makes way more sense than, sweeping streets for nickels.
Right. My suggestion, if anybody home is interested in applying for this, you can A, apply for the whole kit and caboodle, or B, you can also send Victoria Weller a resume saying that you are available certain days, or if they need somebody and they're desperate, that it's nice to have this sort of backup list of people that can be called in town. So don't not send in your resume if you're thinking that you can't do the whole thing. And yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to get this information.
I don't know if they're still offering it, but I think the Thompson Film Commission was also offering like a course for
they
PAs.
Were.
I don't know if that's still active.
Hang on. If it's still active, we'll put it into the comments of this or the description of this video, because it's always nice to have, especially because we're 2 months, just shy of 2 months out of actually starting to film this. It's nice. It would be nice to have your motion picture industry orientation, your act safe, that kind of stuff, and it's all free.
And I think there's even flagging in it, like traffic flagging, which you could use.
Oh yeah, there you go. That'd be
you
good.
can use that even if you weren't going to pursue film necessarily.
Yep. So it's in my experience, if I wasn't doing this job and I didn't have cancer, I'd be working back in the movie industry. It's the second best job I've ever had. I loved it. So it's a lot of fun. Everything's very urgent, but you feel like you're accomplishing something that's bizarre. Even though movies, a movie isn't brain surgery, but it's fun. It pays well. You get fed lots. You got a lot of camaraderie with people. Make a lot of connections. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, please sign up and let us know if you've ever worked in the movies, what your what you've done, how it was for you, if you liked it, didn't like it, whatever. We would love to hear your story. So please send us over an email. And thank you, Troy, for sitting in with me today. I appreciate that.
Saying my 4 sentences.
Well, and no, you know what? That was probably the best 4 sentences that have been spoken in this episode. So
I'm setting the bar for next time.
We don't normally get Troy on the show, so I'm excited to have him on here. Yeah. So thank you to Bill Perry for watching, and I'm sorry that you couldn't hear us at the beginning. But stay safe, have fun, email Victoria Weller, and let's make this movie happen.
Let's make a movie.
Right on.